Good day, Legionnaires. The following is a training video to assist you in the respective office that you have been elected to. It is not all-inclusive, but it will help you get over the rough spots. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Roger Avey, Finance Officer for the American Legion, Department of Michigan. EIN number is to identify you with the Internal Revenue Service and have you file 990s on an annual basis. The 990s, of course, are the tax returns that are a mandate to be filed at least once a year over a period of 3 years, so you do not lose your status with the IRS as a nonprofit. The EIN number identifies you with the Internal Revenue Service, and that's a very important number. Without that number, you cannot have a status with the IRS. For those people who are just taking over as Adjutant and Finance Officer, one of the important things is to identify your EIN number. A simple way to identify your EIN number is to contact the bank that you bank with. They will have that EIN number attached to your account. Get that number from the bank and then check that number against your records to make sure it's the correct number. Someplace in the records there should be a document from the Internal Revenue Service that will tell you exactly what that number is. I've had many commanders and adjutants ask me about multiple EIN numbers, and the important thing here is to protect the post. There should be 2 EIN numbers and 2 separate entities representing the post and representing the lounge or the bar action. If you don't do that, you're going to end up in a liability situation that could decimate the post. You need 2 EIN numbers. The Licensing and Regulation Agency of the state of Michigan is up in Lansing, and in Lansing you have on the web an entire area called LARA, L-A-R-A, which allows you to electronically go out on any PC and look up your post name, if it's been filed with them appropriately, and if it has not, to actually recognize the name of your post, put it in there. And all the instructions are on the website for the American Legion how to do this. And if you don't know that, then you can go on the LARA website, L-A-R-A, at the Michigan Department of the Treasury and apply for a LARA account. And then at that time, register your post name and all the information regarding your post and its officers. And annually, you will then get a report, and the first time, of course, you fill out all of your officers. A commander is the president. A secretary is the adjutant. The finance officer is the finance officer. You must have at least 3 officers listed on a LARA report. Those can be the commander, the vice commander, or any of the officers that are elected, but you have to have at least 3, okay? The 990 report is the tax return that is required to be filed once a year with the Internal Revenue Service. There are about 3 different types of it. The 990 card, which is for organizations that have $50,000 or less of income annually. Then there is the 990 EZ, that is for organizations, the lounge, if you will, or the bar, that has less than $200,000 and less than $500,000 in assets, which would include the building. And that is an EZ document. That's where you list your income and your expenses. And then there's a 990T. I really don't want to get into that because the 990T requires really an accounting office, a CPA, to assist you in completion of that. That would take into consideration depreciation and all sorts of other things that are pretty much outside the scope of the actual finance officer. Most officers do not have the heavy accounting background that would facilitate getting that done. Yes, it is recommended that an accounting firm or a CPA be hired to take care of the 990T. Anything below that, pretty much Intuit or one of the bookkeeping services that you can buy at Sam's Club or any computer area, could help you do that set of records that have to be filed with the IRS. Remember, we're a membership-driven post situation. The members have at all times the ability to look at the books and records of the post. I would recommend that any finance officer or dual situation, adjutant finance officer, bring the bank statement, the current bank statement, bring the checkbook, And if they have the capability, some kind of printout showing what assets and liabilities the organization has and what their profit and loss situation is. Open books, open records, transparency. Then no one can ever question the validity of your reports and the accuracy of your statements. Basically, it's keeping track of the checkbook. And I don't want to make it sound any harder than it is, but if you can keep an accurate checkbook, your books will be pretty much in balance.